Tonight on the Black Channel. 60 years ago, you had black women riding in the back of the bus. Now they're sliding you right up under those wheels. The Black Channel is live. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the everlasting super fortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college university of higher education and learning in the cosmos. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, boy, I'm telling you, well, first of all, you know, it's just one of those things here. It's one of those things where you gotta be careful who you listen to. There's a grand awakening happening. Black men are leading the charge, as always. And of course, the plantation masses are up in arms about it because things are not going at all the way they had hoped it would. Things are not going at all the way they had hoped that it would, boy. It's getting rough. It's getting terrible out there. Don't know who's catching it worse. Don't know who's catching it worse right now. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at who they're doing the most caterwauling about right now. They're doing the most caterwauling and the most panicking about none other than Stacey Abrams. And you all remember, I've been telling you for the longest damn time, the whole point for Stacey Abrams, her whole job is to gain votes. She isn't here to win anything. She's only here to gain votes. That's all. That's it. So, you seen the video with Tiffany Cross. Tiffany Cross was all upset because the Democrats had let them know. All of a sudden, it went from talking about we need to get out the black woman vote to black men need to just show up and do what the hell they supposed to do, what we tell them to. As I've told you all, in warfare, when you're looking to destroy a nation, what do? You go in and you pick a side. You find one side and you say, okay, I'm going to arm them to the teeth against these other folks over here. And then once I've armed them and they've knocked off these other folk over here, then I'm going to go in and go stamp them out. And that's what Tiffany Cross's goal is to do here. Tiffany Cross's black agenda is abortion and LGBT, aborting black babies and then doing nothing for black folk. That's her idea of a black agenda. Well, Tiffany got together and things, and there's a reason why I want to play this particular video here, because she wasn't the only one who saw it. A lot of other folks saw what she was saying as well here, and took umbrage with that.
Roland made a really legitimate point here.
Okay, first of all, you know you done started off from a messed up standpoint when you say that Roland Martin has made a good point. Basically, at that point right there, you're delegitimized. Baby, if you're looking for a guest gig on The Breakfast Club, get in line.
Roland made a really legitimate point here. I will say, you know, a lot of black men sometimes feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point.
Oh, now did you catch that right there? Let me dissect that for you. Did you catch that right there? That many black men feel put down, particularly by black women in the media, and I'm not here to play that role. So you know that she's getting ready to play that role.
They're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland.
That means that this is about to be exactly that.
Feel like they're ignored or they're put down, particularly sometimes even by black women in the media. So this is not that. But I do hear Roland's point that felt ignored. But you feel ignored and then you go over to the other side. The oppressed feel oppressed. So then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said, vote Democrat. But that margin of people who can be plucked away from your people.
Now, this didn't rub anybody the right way at all. So you have to understand, the Democrats are going to send out expendable shills to say this kind of stupidity. This didn't rub anybody the right way at all. There was no one who heard that and they felt like this rubbed them the right way. Everybody took offense at this. Everybody.
So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following.
I'm not putting black men down, but we all know that when you hear a sentence like that with but, that nullifies everything that came before but. Think about that for a few moments. Now I'm backing up a little bit more here.
Oppressed feel oppressed. So then you go and try to align with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down.
You try to align with the oppressor. Here's the problem, Tiffany. You are the oppressor. That's the problem with your statement, Tiffany Cross. I'm looking on your screen right now, and all these bootlicks and shills and willing collaborators with white supremacy like yourself, Tiffany, you are the oppressor. That's the issue. No, we're not aligning with the oppressor because you, as a willful collaborator with the white supremacist establishment, you are the collaborator. You are the oppressor. That's exactly the point right there. You are the oppressor. Now, you notice that she's not giving us any ski-wee talk. There's no black empowerment. There's no anything right there. It's about telling black men, I know what's best for you. Now, what she does is she got 3 beta metrosexuals sitting up there, and that's supposed to be your black representatives. Let me be very, very clear. Tell me the alpha men who want to align themselves with Roland Martin. I'll wait. Who are the black alpha males who say, Roland Martin is one of my examples of alpha manhood? Who the hell is that? Who in the hell is looking for Blorky Pig to be their example of black masculinity? Who's looking at Roland Martin, aka Chef Boyardee, as their example of what black manhood's supposed to be? Who are the black men looking to get with him? And, the black men looking to use him as an example, rather, of masculinity. So what they do is they grab some crash dummies that nobody has any respect for. Nobody's got any respect for them, and those are the only ones she can name. A bunch of dudes that don't have any popular support. Tiffany, the reason why you couldn't hold up Roland Martin as an example of anybody black men are listening to, he has no support, Tiffany, but you know why, because all of you are bootlicks and shills for the white supremacist establishment. So, of course, you scared and mad as hell.
But sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuel with the oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some.
Okay, will you please look at the truth and see what's happening? We looked at the truth, we seen what's happening. So as opposed to speaking to us as fully functional individuals who have looked at the evidence and come to a conclusion based on that, she's just saying, what y'all need to do is what I tell you to do. That's what you need to be doing. Tiffany, you're wrong, but you wouldn't know that you're wrong because as long as Biden's butt cheeks taste like butterscotch, you're perfectly fine with that. So to those of us who don't consider it to be our place in the world to be kissing Joe Biden's ass, you think that's abnormal. Why aren't you over here kissing white daddy's ass? I like the taste of it. Okay, well, we don't. We ain't trying to do that. I don't want to be dancing a jig with Hillary Clinton. What about those? You grab some black males who sit up here and suck up to white folk and kiss their butt cheeks, and then you're looking at us like there's something wrong with us. We don't want to bring any hot sauce. We're not inviting anybody into barbecues. We're not going to dance a jig with Hillary Clinton. We're not going to do that. We're not doing it. She's trying to talk to us like there's something wrong with us. No, ma'am, just because you've sold your soul doesn't mean the rest of us stop using our brains. We started using ours. When you hear this, folks, I want you to understand what you are hearing. What you are hearing is full-blown panic. This is the definition of full-blown panic. The gender war strategy has failed. Tiffany Cross has been sent out to articulate that with that janky ass hairstyle that the gender war strategy has failed. It's not working. It isn't working. We got to do something else. The gender war strategy is failing. You don't sound the alarms this loudly and this ferociously if it's working. You're sounding the alarm because it's failed. And you're hoping to God that there's something you can do here at the last minute to maybe pull out a win, but it's failed. You'll notice she's not giving as much of that neck jerk, wagging your finger, y'all need to do what I tell you energy of Joy Reid. Remember Joy Reid and Angela Rye and the rest of them sitting up here, we're going to punk black men. You notice that's not going on here? All of a sudden she got some act right, doesn't she? She got some act right. And by pointing to the internet, did you notice that? She didn't point to anybody on broadcast TV. You pointed to the internet. Well, we don't have any cable TV shows like that. First of all, she named Kevin Samuels and Tariq Nasheed. Neither one of them has a cable TV show, and only one of them is still alive. Which, by the way, is a pretty pathetic, shameless, despicable thing to do, by the way. Kevin Samuels has been dead now for 3 or 4 months. And yet you're sitting up here blaming him? You're blaming somebody who passed away a season ago. Do you realize how weak and pathetic you have to be to blame somebody? First of all, he didn't even talk about politics. This is a guy who talked about dating and relationships. You're blaming him for your political misfortunes? Do you realize how pathetic you have to be, Tiffany, to sit up and do something like that? First of all, how shameless you have to be. Second of all, how pathetic you have to be. This would be like us blaming Chuck Woolery and the Love Connection for Donald Trump being elected president. What? Now, when you're blaming somebody who's been dead for months and had nothing to do with politics for why your political fortunes have gone bad, that tells you this is just an attack on black men, period. That if you're not a black man who's wearing a dress and a thong and looking to take your lessons in masculinity from Tiffany Cross, Joy Reid, and buck dancing Roland Martin, then there's something wrong with you. If you're not a black man who questions his masculinity and isn't looking for a female or a white supremacist to bow to, there's something wrong with you. With that disingenuous ass sclerotic smile, half smile on her face. Tiffany, if you weren't such a, this is the most famous you've ever been, and you're famous right now for getting clowned. This doesn't go so great. What's the color that goes best with embarrassed?
The oppressor. So I'm not putting black men down, but sometimes it's like, well, some of you Kevin Samuels following Tariq Nasheed quoting people, please look at the truth and see what's happening and get in line with some of the black women. Is majority, like he said,
to get in line with some of the black women. Okay, we're in line with the black women who are not gonna sit up here and butt dance with you, Tiffany. So we're in line with those black women. Let me guess. Those black women are not legitimate black women, right? Right? Yeah, you're only a legitimate black if you're not butt dancing with Tiffany Cross, then you ain't a black woman, right? You're only a real black woman if you're breaking out in the song and dance with Tiffany Cross. All the rest of you are phony. You're only real if you're butt dancing and smiling for Hillary Clinton. Otherwise, you're a phony, right? All the real black women are over there with Tiffany Cross doing housekeeping services for Nancy Pelosi. If you're over there sweeping up garbage at Nancy Pelosi's house with Tiffany Cross, then yeah, you're a real black woman, right? Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you there, definitely that went over like a pipe bomb at a daycare. It didn't go over very, very well. Number of individuals took grievous exception with that, and Nina Turner was one of those people who took exception to this. Now, what did Nina have to say, however? Well, Nina said, "This sounds a lot like shut up and dribble. No group should be told to fall in line. Voting is transactional. The corporatist wing of both parties are failing not only black men," okay, Nina, this is where you screwed up at, ma'am, "but all working class folks. This system must be challenged." You thought that Nina had actually gotten some act right and some get smart just when you thought that Nina had finally figured it out, just when you thought that Nina had finally taken her lips off of Bernie Sanders' decrepit, wrinkled butt cheeks. She lets you know that she still sees herself as a citizen of the world. So she sits up here and attempts to hijack somebody attacking black men, and as they always do, they take a black issue and then try to hijack it and piggyback it on somebody else's cause. This ain't about the damn world or the working class, Nina. You ain't getting it. You're not getting it. Nina, listen to me very carefully. You and Simone Sanders and all of the other would-be social political climbers who thought that you were going to use Bernie Sanders as your entree into higher crust society, it ain't going to work. That leftist populist message that you thought, that socialist populist message you thought you were going to become a leader of, you're not. Nina, here is the real problem. Number one, you are not seen as a thought leader. You're not seen as a thought leader among the rank and file and the average black person. They don't see you as a thought leader. Because you don't have your own thoughts. You just regurgitate whatever Bernie Sanders said and try to put your own little spin on it, but all you're really doing is repeating him. So first of all, you're not a thought leader. So it doesn't work for you. But second of all, you sold your soul to the establishment so long ago that you are now completely identified with them. It's not going to work for you that way. None of those people came back and turned around and tried to figure out a way to boost you. As a matter of fact, when you tried running, it didn't go so well. Now you want to wait until after they've dashed your hopes and after they've trampled you, all of a sudden you want to speak against them. All of a sudden you want to speak against them. You should have had this energy the whole time. And you should have had it years and years ago. Instead of trying to be the anti-Democrat, you need to be the anti-Bernie Sanders. Instead of sitting up here trying to convince everybody that you can be a black female Bernie Sanders, you need to try to convince people that you're an independent thinker of your own. And you're failing to do that, Nina. If you all like tonight's program, give me a thumbs up in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. If you don't, I'll go ahead and wrap this up here in a few moments. We got almost 4,000 of you in here, so if you like what you're hearing, hit the likes button for me and give me a thumbs up. If you don't, I'll just go ahead and wrap it up in a few moments here. You see, some folks learn things the easy way, and then some folks have to learn after a solid ass whooping. And Nina had to learn after that. All these black folk who thought they were going to ingratiate themselves with the system, they were going to find themselves to be a backdoor, that they were going to be power brokers behind the scenes. See, that's the way they played them. Simone Sanders, Nina Turner, Stacey Abrams. They told all of them, well, the real seats of power, the real power is behind the scenes. So if you just play the game, sister girl, wink, wink. Why, you'll be running things soon here. And then what they did was they held up Stacey Abrams as their mascot of quote unquote black female power behind the scenes. Remember? Oh, man, take a look at what Stacey has done. Why, she's galvanized the vote. Why, she's going to be the next power broker. This is great and wonderful. Remember Roland Martin? We're turning Georgia purple. Remember? We're turning Georgia purple. Remember? Remember Roland Martin saying that? I played that here on the program. We're turning Georgia purple. Why, Stacey Abrams, we're turning it purple. We turning Georgia, and Texas gonna be next. We're turning Texas and Georgia purple. Texas and Georgia purple. Don't listen to that new black media. We're turning Georgia purple. Georgia purple. Georgia purple. Oh hell. What is this? Do my Humpty eyes deceive me? Oh, there's a not very encouraging headline there now, isn't it? Governor Brian Kemp widens lead over Abrams to 8 points in the Georgia governor's race. His lead isn't getting smaller, his lead is getting bigger. This is her second damn crack at bat. His lead is getting bigger. No wonder Tiffany and the Democrats are panicking, because they were holding her up as their symbolic mascot that they were delivering something. No wonder they're panicking. So they will not say it's the fact that they're not offering a black agenda. They're going to say, well, if black men had showed up, then Stacey Abrams will win office to come do nothing for black people. It is the black men's fault. It's not that Stacey and the Democrats are not offering anything. It's, well, these black men didn't understand how great of an offer they were making. So you see, it's not me and Hillary Clinton and Tiffany Cross who are your oppressors. It's them black men's over there who won't just go along to get along and blindly vote for whatever we tell them to. No, they are in a panic over there. From the Hill, Kemp widens lead over Abrams to 8 points in Georgia governor's race. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, Republican, has expanded his lead over his Democratic challenger, Stacey Abrams, to 8 percentage points in the Peach State's gubernatorial race, according to a new poll. Half of likely Georgia voters in the Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll released on Tuesday said they would support Kemp, while 42% said they backed Abrams. In late July, Kemp led Abrams by 5 points, 48% to 43%. The new survey differed substantially from a Quinnipiac University poll last Wednesday that showed the two competitors locked in a tight race, with Kemp holding a slim 2-point lead over Abrams. Kemp beat Abrams in the state's 2018 gubernatorial race by less than 2 points. The Atlanta-based newspaper's poll found a bleaker outlook overall for Democrats in Georgia. While the state's U.S. Senate race remained close, the survey showed Republican candidates leading Democrats across the board in down-ballot races for Lieutenant Governor, Attorney General, and Secretary of State. Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker narrowly led Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock 46% to 44%. Do you know how bad you gotta be if you getting beat by Herschel Stumble Walker? Do you know how pathetic you gotta be if you losing to Herschel Walker? He doesn't even know what the race is. Mr. Herschel Walker, how do you feel about the race? Well, you know, I don't see race. I don't see color. I don't see that kind of thing. No, sir, not that race. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were asking the soldier. Yes. I'm very good for the race. I hope Sha'Carri Richards wins. I'm rooting for USA in the race. No, sir. No, not the Olympic race. The governor's race. The governor's race. I mean, he is white, but I don't hold it against him. No, Mr. Walker. The race you're in. I ain't running nowhere. Okay. Do you know how bad it's got to be if you're losing to Herschel Walker? Do you know how bad people, we have a political establishment literally filled with senile and brain damaged individuals. This is frightening. This is frightening. Our political class is literally filled with brain damaged people. They literally can't remember what color underwear they put on this morning. Here, let me lead your state and your country with you in it. What could possibly go wrong here? What could possibly go wrong here? No, looks great to me. If you're losing to him, my God, he doesn't even know where the election, he doesn't even know there's an election happening with him in it. He doesn't even know. They go on to say here, however, last week's Quinnipiac poll had Warnock leading Walker by 6 points. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution poll of 861 likely general election voters in the state was conducted by the University of Georgia School of Policy and International Affairs September 5th through 16th and has a margin of error of 3.3 percentage points. Folks, there's a reason that they're panicking. There's a reason that they're worried. You don't panic and worry like this when things are going well. You panic and worry like this when you've done your own internal polls. You've done your own internal polling. This close to the election, you've done your own internal polling, and that internal polling is telling you, whoa, we got problems. We got problems. It ain't gonna be no cakewalk. But understand something, no matter what occurs here, they're okay with that. Stacey has served her purpose. Her purpose, as I said to you before, just like Gary Chambers down there in South Louisiana telling himself he's gonna win something. These Negroes think that they're positioning themselves as power brokers. The whole point of making Stacey Abrams run for governor again so that she can lose even worse this time is so that what she does is she serves the purposes of registering more voters, and then they scuttle the ship. She's going to serve the purpose of gathering and recruiting more black voters, and then they're going to get rid of her. They're going to tell you that because she lost the governor's race twice, there's no reason to support her for any other political office. Thank you for your service. Get your big ass out of here. That's what they're going to do. As soon as she has served her purpose and is no longer viable, she served the purpose of gathering more voters, more black voters, so that they can run a white candidate next time. And they will tell you that the white candidate is all those black voters that Stacey Abrams gathered. They're now going to have a white candidate to vote for in 2026. That's the whole idea. That there'll be a white person that they can put their votes behind. Recognize what the game is that they're playing here. That this will work for you all. Stacey's here to gather and accumulate the vote, and we are here to make sure that she doesn't get any benefit from it. Same thing with Gary Chambers. He's here to gather and register the vote, and then once he's served his purpose, all right, get the hell on up out of here. And then you won't hear from them anymore. After that, you won't hear from them anymore. I mean, they'll let them show up and give a speech somewhere. Yeah, you're still useful to gather votes, but we ain't gonna let you run anything. I've been saying that for the longest time. We're not gonna let you run anything. She didn't get the memo. She didn't understand that was the way it worked. She thought it went some other way. She's finding out the hard way now. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. So she's going to get out there, make an ace fool of herself, and promote the LGBT agenda and illegal aliens, and then she will soundly lose. And when they run a white candidate, he's not going to say all that. They're going to get a white candidate, and he won't say all of that. He'll just tell all the black voters they need to come vote for him. And he won't offer any black agenda whatsoever. Not that Stacey's offering one. Stacey's not offering one either. So you got to understand, they're kind of sitting on a double-edged sword. On the one hand, they don't want Stacey to win, but on the other hand, they can't really afford for Stacey to lose. On the one hand, they don't want her to win, but on the other hand, they also can't afford for her to lose, because if Stacey loses, then you're going to have an honest conversation about why she lost. And all you're really doing is opening up more opportunities for us to sit up here and show you that she didn't have a black agenda, and to keep making that the discussion. They don't really want that to continue being the damn topic of discussion, is the lack of a black agenda. They don't really want that to happen either. So you're stuck between the devil and the buffet. They don't really want to have to deal with that. They just want to go ahead and shovel her on off and not have a conversation. So they're trying now to frame the conversation as well to see the real issue is black men did XYZ. Black men did XYZ. And that argument is already falling flat. You're not going to make that one work either. The very fact that you had to call us out, that means that you already know it's not going to work. I'm saying this tonight because I want you all to understand the value of accurate analysis of these things. It is critical and crucial that we have accurate analysis of it, because without that, nothing else works. Without that, nothing else works. You've got to have accurate analysis, and you got to have a heads up well in advance of what's going to occur, which is why we keep giving you the heads up in advance of what's going to occur and give you an accurate analysis of why you're seeing what you're seeing. If you'll all remember, it was almost a year ago. Everybody was telling me, Jason, they're going to have COVID lockdowns, and we just stuck, and people ain't going to have jobs, and this, that, and the other, and COVID lockdowns, they're going to make everybody get vaccinated. I said, if you don't stop, they're just making a bunch of noise, because Biden is making as much noise as possible because he wants to be associated with lockdowns and vaccines and and requirements at the airport. He wants himself to be associated with that. Not because it's going to work, but so that when he declares the pandemic over, he'll tell you that, yeah, I made tough decisions and they weren't popular, but look, the pandemic is over. And folk were disputing me at the time. There were people who wanted to argue with me at the time. Jason, you don't know what you're talking about. That's not going to happen. And I said, folk were saying, when's he going to declare it over? I said, he's going to declare it over next year, 2022. In time for the midterm elections, he's going to declare the pandemic over. Him and Fauci are going to say, pandemic? What pandemic? Everything's fine. I had some folks who didn't believe it. They were like, Jason, that would be a matter of months. There's no way in the world that you could declare this thing over in a matter of months. No way in the world. That would be Orwellian. That would be these people sitting up here saying, I'm white and I say so. Well, guess what? He's white and he says so. By the way, in case you were wondering, I'll be damned. Did I call it or did I call it? First I said it with Dr. Fauci, and now Joe Biden went on 60 Minutes and outright said the pandemic is over. What do you know? Right in time for the midterm elections. Did I call it or did I call it? There's a reason why you must have, it is essential that you have accurate, reliable information from a source that can accurately predict what will occur. George Zimmerman being acquitted, Amber Geiger being convicted, Donald Trump winning in 2016, Joe Biden declaring the pandemic over, shot after shot, time after time, well in advance. They used to call me Jason Black, now they call me Negro Damas. It's not enough to just analyze events while they're happening. We have to be able to forecast what they're going to do. I can tell you what they're going to do because I know how craven they are. So it's not just in a racial fashion. I know their political ideology and their political strategy across the board, way outside of just dealing with black and white issues, to be able to accurately predict this. And I told you all last year, and I never backed off of it. I never backed off of it. I stayed firm, and I told you all, it's going to happen. I said that months ago when Dr. Fauci started signaling that the pandemic is coming to an end. I said, well, I tell you all, now Biden has outright said it. I ain't doing a victory lap, but if you hear shoes running, it ain't Roland Martin trying to do some fitness. That's for damn certain. So just recognize what you're looking at here. They're used to being able to tell you what reality is from day to day. They're used to telling you what reality is from day to day. They're used to telling you that up is down and down is up and you just roll with it. No wonder Tiffany Cross thinks that if she waves her finger at us, that we're just going to, quote, fall in line. No wonder she thought that wagging her finger at us would make us just fall in line. She thinks she's got some type of white privilege. She thinks she's got some kind of white privilege that she can stand in front of black folk and wag her finger. I know she got a hell of a wake-up call. Got a hell of a wake-up call. And poor little old Tiffany, she's not the only one. Oh boy, it's even worse for some of these other people. It's even worse for some of these other folk. Some of these other folk out here, like poor little Kamala Harris, boy, is getting crowded up under that bus. It is getting crowded up under that bus. I mean, you already run Simone Sanders under the bus. Stacey Abrams, get on up under this bus. And little old Kamala Harris, boy, I'm telling you, they're already starting to jack this thing up so they can drop these wheels on her too. I'm going to touch on that in just a few moments here. But we're going to take a very brief non-commercial break. Before I do, I want to thank everyone and everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, Cash App, or Super Chat. So Brenda Starr, thank you very much. B1 Media is a lifesaver. Mark B, Mr. Richburg, Chadwick. And I want to send a big shout out to Famously Blacker. Thank you very much for your support. I appreciate that. Famously Blacker, I see you out there. So thank you very much for your support. We're doing the best we can. Everybody here on YouTube as well, thank you very much for your support. When I come back, Kamala Harris is getting thrown under the bus in a big, I'm talking about by the Democrats, not by the Republicans. The Democrats by name are calling her out and throwing her smooth slap the hell up under them damn Greyhound wheels. It's getting rough out here. We're going to deal with that in just a moment after this very brief non-commercial break. This is The Black Channel.
Are you tired of being overcharged and forced into paying a monthly subscription for your Mac and Windows software? Well, if you are, currently we're having a 50% off discount on all the latest Mac and Windows software, such as AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Photoshop, Microsoft Office, and much more. Our 50% off discount will be ending soon, so be sure to text us NEED SOFTWARE to 323-407-8214. That's 323-407-8214. We aim to please, so expect 24/7 technical support, the latest premium software, instant software links delivered to your email, and PayPal's buyer's protection guarantee.
When you need a reliable influx of capital to grow your business, Spectre Capital Finance provides fast, individualized working capital loans with lines of credit to take your business to the next level. SpectreCapitalFinance.com.
Hey, I'm Marcus. For a while, I walked around with this empty feeling inside. I had a full-time job, but not in the field I wanted to be in. But then I came across this book where it was like, the title was just for me. Guide to Being Black in IT. I read the book and the author took me through scenarios and gave me tips. I sat down and read it and it only took an hour. After I got done, I took advice in the book, practiced in the labs, and got certified. Then I literally got up and applied for a position with this company I've been looking at for a while and got the job. Thanks to that book, I worked my job with confidence. If you're looking to get into IT or even in the field, now this is a must-read book. Go to www.beingblackinit.com.
I am black first. I am empowered. I am on code. I am motivated. I am a proud foundational. My name is Maria Sellers, and nothing will come between us. Buy the sci-fi novel, Nothing Will Come Between Us. Order today at Amazon and Google Play. Visit spiritofo1811publishing.com. Our story, our family.
Join 6zeros.net, a forum built to discuss all things relevant to black people. On our forum, a check doesn't mean you're famous. It means your blackness has been verified by our staff.
Sorry, Chad.
We also have premium merchandise with same-day shipping on most orders. And when you're ready for some dope content, check out the 0 Hour blog. Don't just sign up, post. I'm having a really good time with you tonight.
I'm having a good time with you too.
Want to go somewhere private? Just for us?
I like that.
Great. Meet me at 6zeros.net. Black owned, black operated.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority here. And what I've done, I've gone ahead and opened up the telephone lines. So the number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. You are, of course, welcome to join us. And if you have been instructed in the chat room to call in, it's not just a good idea to call, that's an order. So if you've had something to say in the chat room, you are now going to be required to call in and say it yourself. So the number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. And or you can be on the bus or you can be up under it. And as a matter of fact, you'll have plenty of company up under there, because among the other folks who are finding themselves persona non grata, among the other folks who are finding themselves in a tough situation right now, boy, you thought old Stacey Abrams was having it rough. She's hardly the other one. She's hardly the only one. Guess who they were talking about on CNN? Now, as you all have heard, the situation at the southern border, Joe Biden is trying to replace black folk in the electorate, so he's letting over every illegal alien he possibly can, because they're trying to save Western civilization from the black folk who built the civilization. And remember, they said Kamala Harris is in charge of the border. That's her pet project. That's what she's doing. She's in charge of it. It's been nothing short of a catastrophe going on down there, although that's the goal. But listen to what they're saying on CNN. Listen to what they're saying. And as a matter of fact here, let me make the window a little bit smaller so you can see exactly what they're saying. You take a look at that. Democratic lawmaker says what Kamala Harris said about the border is not true. Well, Democratic lawmaker says that Kamala Harris is lying about the border. Well, certainly we need to see what's going on there, don't we? Oh, Kamala doesn't want to hear it, though.
On the subject of border security, here's what the vice president said on Meet the Press last weekend. Roll it.
The border is secure, but we also have a broken immigration system, in particular over the last 4 years before we came in, and it needs to be fixed. We have a secure border in that is a priority for any nation, including ours and our administration.
Congressman, that's just not true, right? I mean, you're on the front line. You've spent your whole life in Laredo. The border is not secure, is it?
Well, now, did you hear Mike Smirkanish there? He comes out with both barrels. Why, that's just not true, Congressman. They're talking about Kamala Harris the way they do about Trump. They're not being journalists, being objective and asking a question. They're telling you, no, that's not true. That's just not true. They're not leaving this no fair and balance here, no letting you come to your own conclusions. He comes right out the gate. That's just not true. Now, yes, he's telling the truth, by the way, but they're giving Kamala Harris the damn Trump treatment, aren't they? Boy, it kind of sucks to be her right now.
Administration.
Congressman, that's just not true, right? I mean, you're on the front line. You've spent your whole life in Laredo. The border is not secure, is it?
The border is not secure, without due respect to the VP. We get thousands of people along the border, from 6,000 to 8,000 people a day. They're releasing people, and we can send you pictures and videos of what's happening in Del Rio, in the Valley, El Paso, and other places. People are coming in. We had 1.7 million people that were encountered last year. We're going to have 2 or maybe 2.2 by the end of this fiscal year, in about two more weeks. That's almost 4 million people. That doesn't even include the getaways. The getaways are the people that Border Patrol has a good idea that evaded them. So you're talking about almost 4 plus maybe 4.4 million individuals in 2 years.
4 million people. Folks, that's more than the population of several American states. Do you understand that? For those of you who live in a place like New York or Virginia or something, that's one thing. But in California or New York or Texas, people, no, that's true, 4 million. That's more than the population of some entire states. 4 million people. That is enough to displace the black vote in several states, by the way. That's enough to replace the black vote or displace it in several states. That's not accidental. That is not accidental. These folks are not playing around anymore. They're like, okay, we can't wait long enough for y'all to leave. We got to replace that population now. We got to replace that right now. Black folk being arrested for loitering, illegal aliens being shepherded across the border, given free room and board, free health care, free education. So black folk had to fight and bleed for it. They're making sure these people got it with no questions asked. That means that they are sitting up here making sure it's stacked against you. They're making sure that it's stacked against you. And Kamala Harris has found herself smooth slap thrown under the damn wheels because that's the whole plan. The whole plan is to make sure that you understand, oh, don't worry, we know who we're going to blame this on. So on the one hand, you got Tiffany Cross trying to blame everything on black men. And on the other hand, you got Mike Smirkanish blaming it on the sometimes black, sometimes Asian vice president. That's not a mistake when you see that occurring. So when everybody is winning, it's white. If they start losing, it's black. When they're having their way, it's white folk. Those are the ones you think. When things go to hell, oh, well, it's a black person. Don't you understand this? That's what's going on. That's the game that they're playing here now. To make sure you understand, oh, we know exactly how we're going to craft this issue. We know exactly how we're going to craft it. We're going to craft it as it's your fault. So remember what I said in 2020? I said, oh, they're coming in the door making sure that Kamala Harris, oh, baby, you ain't got no political future. Enjoy your time, whatever you're doing to tidy up the vice president's office, because you will get no higher. You're not going anywhere else. Don't you worry about higher political office. That ain't happening for you. We're making sure of that right now. Can you all name the last successful thing that Kamala Harris was tied to? Can you all name the last successful affair of any kind that she was tied to? Can you name that at all? Can anybody name what she has done that anybody was able to tie anything to here? That's the question to ask here. Can anybody name what that is? Because they're crafting her narrative right now, boy. They're making sure her, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they're making sure all of them, oh, you're not going anywhere else. You're not going anywhere else. It's going to be business as usual. It's going to be business as usual and business as habitual. We already got that lined up. However, you might disagree. Therefore, the telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. I want to send a big shout out to David X and Tom Slick in the super chat. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. Thank you to all of you listening in and to everyone who has contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal or Cash App. Thank you very much for your support as well. We're going to go ahead and open up the phone lines here now. I recommend you call in early if you want to speak. I definitely recommend you do that. Let me get caller from area code 770. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Oh, hello. How you doing, sir?
What is your name? Where are you calling from other than the soup kitchen?
This is Ball in the Fourth. I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, Ball in the Fourth, what's on your mind?
We got a situation here. Yeah, I want to tell you what's on my mind, sir. We got a situation here where you got black coons lining up with white trash to go against poor blacks. And I'm gonna do a prediction like what you like to do. I'm gonna tell you something. When these Democrats gonna lose some seats because black folks gonna stay home and not vote, and you're gonna have a big rift in the black community. And I'm telling you, that's coming up, and it's gonna get ugly.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 309. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, downstate Illinois, south of Chicago.
Okay, and what is your name?
309. I'm sorry?
Okay, you have your speakers on. Folks, turn off y'all's speakers. You're already on the phone. There's no reason to have speakers on.
Thing off. You people just blocked me because I asked you. There we go. Are we with me now? You all people just blocked me because I asked a question, what time zone are you in? And your people shut me off.
Okay.
All I asked is what time zone are you in?
Okay.
Because some of us are in, my daughter's in California.
What is your name? What is your name in the chat room, ma'am?
Pamela White.
Okay. Mods, go see if
I am downstate Chicago.
Go see if you all can find Pamela White and see if we can undo that. Unless she got removed for something else. All right. Pam, thank you very much for calling in here tonight. I got a feeling I understand what is powering you right now, and it's not. I got a feeling I know what it is. I got a feeling I know it's. I got a feeling I know what's causing your angst. I got a feeling I do, but yeah, if y'all can find that, go ahead and let me know. Let me get caller from area code 929. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Good evening, Jason. My name is Daryl Ferguson. I'm from Chicago.
Daryl from Chicago, what's on your mind?
Jason, excellent broadcast. And as you predicted, everything was going to happen with the analysis that you have given. And yes, it's bus calling time. It's a lot of the people that thought that they had it. They thought they had that kind of privilege, and now they've been thrown under the bus, including the vice president. You predicted this a year ago, so this is nothing new. But we just got to keep on being on code, staying on code, and being alert and being understanding of what's really going on. And again, thank you for that, Jason. Appreciate that.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. We appreciate that. B1 as always. And definitely, like I say, I predicted that when Kamala Harris was first chosen, it was so obvious that Joe Biden was choosing her for the purposes of making sure that she would no longer be a threat. So all of a sudden, he chooses her as his vice presidential running mate. And next thing you know, she's front and center on everything. It's like, oh, can't you see your little ass is being set up? And she thought, well, don't worry, I'm going to play the game. She had no idea just how far off in it they were about to send her. She had no idea just how far off in the game she was about to go. And they were like, oh, baby, for everything bad, we're going to put that on you. We're not putting that on anybody else. For everything bad, we're putting it on you. Anything and everything negative that happens, oh, Biden ain't going to take any blame. For the really heavy stuff that really makes folk mad, we're going to point to you and say, well, we turned it over to her. Fox News is over there saying that, well, Kamala Harris is supposed to be in charge of the borders. Okay. Yeah, that's going great now, isn't it? Caller from area code 706. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Bo Monty. I'm calling from Augusta, Georgia.
Bo Monty from Augusta. What's on your mind?
Yes, I wanted to ask a question about how do you feel about the Raphael Warnock, Herschel Walker thing going on down here? Because I actually believe if it seems to be a tight race, and it seems to me if Herschel Walker gets in, he will be the prime and perfect example of a tool and how they get broken after they're elected, because I don't understand how these Republicans are backing him knowing that they're going to break him once he's in.
They're not going to break anything. They're going to tell Herschel, okay, Herschel, it's Tuesday. Today you're going to vote yes on this bill, yes on this, no on this one over here, yes. That's it. That's exactly what it's going to be like your senile 105-year-old grandfather, okay? It's going to be like that.
Exactly.
They're just going to tell him whatever to do, and to be totally honest with you, that's exactly what the Democrats do with Warnock. So at least in this situation, you would have an honest puppet. At least you can see what's going on there. At least you're under no misgivings about what's actually occurring. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 704. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hi, my name is Lanisa. I'm calling from Concord, North Carolina, right outside of Charlotte.
All right, Lanisa from Concord. What's on your mind?
I just want to say I really appreciate your show. I have learned so much. I feel so smart, and I'm so proud to see our people coming on code. But I wanted to ask a question when it comes to getting people to be on code. I'm running into a lot of people that I'm trying to convince our people to be on code, and it's so difficult. Why is that? And they resist it, a lot of times.
Well, I mean, that's the whole Titanic battle that we've been dealing with. You have the black folk who are still holding on to the civil rights generation strategy of go along to get along, integrate, kiss white people's asses, and be as little of a threat as possible. Then you've got those of us who believe in black empowerment. And our numbers have been swelling and growing. But no, we by no means run the yard just yet. We are influencing the national agenda, but we don't set the national agenda just yet. A decade ago when I began my broadcast, it's a broadcast, not a show. Steve Harvey has a show. In any case, a decade ago when I started doing this, one of the things I said, and it was a super controversial statement then, but I said it then and I stand by it today, we need a black civil war. If you want to know why America got to where it is today, you know why there was a civil war. You name any place. The Bolshevik Revolution, the French Revolution, the Communist Revolution, the American Revolution, and then the American Civil War. And as black people, we've had our agenda given to us by everybody else. You have not had a structure in black society that rises up and says, we are going to set the agenda for the people. And that anybody who is against it, we're shutting it down. We're finally getting to that point, which is why the likes of Tiffany Cross and the rest of the puppeteered breed out there are panicking, because that's exactly what we need to have right now. This needs to be the arena of socio-political, gladiatorial, hand-to-hand combat. Put their ideas up against ours. Have them declare their banners openly. Have them sit up here, and when we say black empowerment, have them let us show that every time we say black empowerment, they say, yeah, black empowerment, and what we really need is LGBT, so we can expose that every time it happens. There's a reason why they evade these discussions, because this is what exposes it. We never had that before. Black folk have been acting like because everybody's black, then everybody understands that there's systemic racism and white supremacy. Yes, everybody does understand that there is systemic racism and white supremacy. Here's what you need to learn. Everybody you're talking to understands everything you're saying. It's not a matter of comprehension. Well, Jason, why are they so resistant? Because as I've told you for over a decade now, there are only two types of black people. Those who understand that white supremacy exists and fight it, and those who understand that white supremacy exists and go back to picking the cotton. And that's exactly where you are. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. It's not a matter of comprehension. It's not a matter they understand. They mean it when they say that to you all. When y'all got them old niggas up there at your jobs, they mean what they're saying. When they tell you, you need to calm down with all that troublemaking over there right there, you're going to make things hard on the rest of us. That's straight off the damn plantation. Don't you get it? Don't you get it? That's straight off the plantation. You need to calm down with all that right there. You're going to make trouble for everybody. As these niggas get older, they start smiling more. The older they get, the more they smile. Well, hello there, Miss Ann. Hello there, Mr. Johnny. Then they come around you. Y'all need to quiet down. See, I got this thing on lock over here. I understand how it is. See, I don't be making no waves like that right there. So just understand what you're dealing with. It isn't that they don't understand it. It's not that they don't see it. It's not that they don't know. They do know. They want you to go back to picking the cotton. Yeah, we understand it's tough. They be putting their boots on our necks. We understand that. Yeah, it's rough out here. We get it. But you see, what needs to happen here is you need to understand. You need to understand what's going on is the problem. See, if you would just go along to get along, it would be better here. If you would just go along to get along, it would be better. You need to understand that I know this thing. See, y'all just make too much damn trouble. See, that's the issue right there. If y'all would just make less trouble, things would go easier. You all just need to make less trouble. That's the problem. Why don't y'all just make less trouble so that we can get things going the way we need it to? So that's why I tell you all, just understand what you're really looking at here. Understand what you're really looking at. They are not under any misconceptions. Let me get called from area code 850. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, this is Keith from Panama City, Florida.
Okay, Keith from Panama City. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I just wanted to drop something. That Tiffany Cross video was, man, that's disturbing. But just to add something to what you were saying about the immigrant a few minutes ago, I didn't get a chance to jump in on that one. Down here, we have a lot of that influx of the immigrants down here. And I work with a lot of, let's say, welders, we all got some kind of tech or trade. And sitting in the break room, they are starting not to forget the Haitians that might work there or the Nigerians. They are starting to ask us, what do you think about immigration? I look at them and I say, well, I'm not really into that. But I just thought it was funny. I just want to throw that on the table and try to find out your thoughts on that, because when they start asking us if it's a problem, I think it's a problem. That's just me. I may be wrong.
Okay, well, definitely they're trying to feel you out, and that's the time for you not to say anything. You don't need to let folks know what you're thinking.
Yeah, you get up on the table. I ain't on that.
No, you don't tell anybody what the hell you're thinking. It's like you start playing crazy. Ooh, really? There is? Ooh, I didn't know that there. And then go back about your business. You don't sit up here and give them that kind of information. You don't do that.
I just thought it was funny because you can go to, I live in a pretty, I don't know if you're familiar with Panama City, but Pier Park, that's pretty much the beach. So you got the $500 hotel rooms and stuff like that. And I see them going into the Walmart and being observant. You look at them folks' face when they in there with 2 carts of food. And you look, you don't say anything. You just watch it. They getting tired too. I think it's going to be, it's about to break out. Just me personally. And I just wanted to hit you with that, man, to see what your thought was, because you're very insightful.
Well, definitely don't let folk know what we know, okay? What you're thinking, we shouldn't let everybody know what the hell we're thinking. They're supposed to find out what we're thinking after we've done something. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. There's a caller calling from a restricted number. We're not going to take your call. If you're international or something, you need to let the mods know that you're calling. Otherwise, we're not going to take your call. So when your call drops now, that's because you haven't let us know you're calling internationally or something. You need to post in the chat room that you're trying to call from an international number or something. Otherwise, if your number is blocked, we will not take your call. Let me get caller from area code 760. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from? Okay, turn off your speakers. Okay, why don't you take the night off? Caller from area code 678. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Jason. This is Marie from Fairburn, Georgia.
All right, Marie, what's on your mind?
So I'm looking at the headlines that saying Kemp lead is about 8 points over Stacey Abrams, and I don't understand if that's the case. How is Warnock and Herschel Walker in a close race unless they're saying that some of the Republicans are going to cross over and vote for Warnock? Can you add to that to make that make sense for you?
I mean, Georgia's a red state, so obviously you're going to have more support for the Republicans than you do the Democrats. So, I mean, I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Okay, so you think that close race, the close race that they're talking about is just a flat-out lie?
No, what I'm saying is that you have polls that are coming out here right now, and the polls are seeming to jibe with what we've been seeing before. You are seeing weak support for the Democrats. Their support in the last 2 years has weakened, which is what we've been saying the whole time. The support for the Democrats is not a lock. It is not that traditional thing. It is starting to get weaker and weaker with every election cycle. I warned the Democrats of this in 2016. That if you do not embrace, after the killings of Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Eric Garner, everybody else, that if you do not embrace a solidly pro-black agenda, black folk will begin staying home. And what happened in 2016 and 2018 and 2020? They barely squeaked by, and folk were like, Jason C., you were wrong. Oh, was I really? Here comes 2022. Take a look at what happened in Virginia. We can go down the list. Races that the Democrats thought were solidly theirs, and they're not. Now in Georgia, if Stacey Abrams gets beaten worse this time, that's proof positive. What are they telling you? Tiffany Cross and the rest of them are telling them the black vote is the problem. The black vote is it. Warnock should be far and away ahead. It's not happening because the support he got before is not what he's getting now. Stacey Abrams should be far and away ahead. The support she's getting now is not what she was getting before. The support she's getting before is not what she's getting now. It has weakened. It has lessened. What we warned them was going to occur, they're now telling you that the polls are saying that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller Mary code 443. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Yeah, this is Immigrant B1 from Fort Gordon in Georgia.
Immigrant B1 from Fort Gordon, what's on your mind?
So, considering the effects that civil wars have had on the continent of Africa, and hearing you talk about black people in the U.S. needing a civil war in order to move forward, when you talk about a civil war, are you referring to it in terms of the rhetoric, or are you talking about physically also?
That's not a serious question. Immigrant B1, do me a favor. Are you listening?
Yes.
Take the night off. Hang up the phone. Take the night off. Call from area code 908. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Omar calling from Trenton.
Omar from Trenton, what's on your mind?
Yeah, I find it funny that they are trying to force fit these immigrants in like 3 cities, and these 3 cities just happen to be the blackest cities in the country. It's funny when they talk about the migrants in New York. It's always Mayor Adams. It's never Governor Hochul really giving the address of where to put the migrants, due to the fact that she has no excuse. New York State is one of the biggest states in the union. It's huge. You have plenty of room upstate. Matter of fact, I-81, Jason, goes right through upstate New York, right to Canada. Before you hit Canada, there's a huge army base. So you have no excuse. You got Biden and you got Governor Hochul. They can easily put them, it's called Fort Drum. They can easily put them in that base. It's huge. It's a city to itself. The reason they'll do it, too many white people there. Point blank, period. It's white people all around that damn base. They don't want to put them where the white people are. Point blank, period. It's not about space. It's about we're trying to replace. That's it. That's all. You can't tell me you can't find a place for them. You know what I'm saying? You mean you can't find a place for them that is wanting of them. That's what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, they can't find a place. What they're saying is that they thought they were dropping them off in places where it would either be open or destabilize the black vote. What they don't want is you dropping them off where white folk are and diluting them. Remember, in Martha's Vineyard, they had the military in 24 hours. They had the military within 24 hours out there removing those 50 people. You couldn't get the military to show up in 24 hours for Hurricane Katrina when it drowned a whole American city. Them rich white folk up there in Martha's Vineyard, they had the U.S. military there within 24 hours to come and pick those illegals up and get them the hell up out of there. You and I don't even know what the hell the number would be to do that. And even if we called the number, they'd be like, who the hell is you? Them rich white folk up there made it very clear. Oh, no. They're supposed to be off where the Negroes are at down there. And they're going to put them on another plane and go ship them where some black folk are. That's what they're going to do. So you're absolutely right. But as soon as the white folks started feeling the heat from it, it's like, oh, they figured out all of a sudden it's not a sanctuary city anymore. It's not a sanctuary state anymore. As long as they're destabilizing where black folk are, it's not a sanctuary. It's a sanctuary city and sanctuary state. As soon as we say, you know what, good idea, sanctuary here. What? All of a sudden now, yeah, we'll get you on up out of here now. We can take care of that. Thank you very much for giving us a phone call here tonight. Absolutely. A lot of folks are getting a whole bunch of act right in the meantime. A lot of them are getting a whole bunch of act right in the meantime. They're learning what's real. Everybody thought it was a joke before, and now it's hitting home. It's like, oh, okay, we getting that. Now we get it. Yeah, this election cycle is going to teach a lot of folks a lot of things. And what they're showing you is they're already dialing up the rhetoric. They're already telegraphing what the excuses will be. Oh, we're going to blame you. They're already letting you know this is going to be our excuse. This is going to be our excuse for why we didn't deliver. We're already trying to cover our asses. Here's the problem. It's not going to work. Oh, they're going to try it. Don't get me wrong. Oh, they will try it, but it also will not work. That's the other part of it. They will try it, but it also will not work. We're going to take one more phone call here. Let me get caller from area code 510. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is August from Oakland.
August from Oakland. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just saw something in the news earlier about some tents that they're making in New York, like these big industrial type tents or whatever to house the illegal immigrants. And I'm just pointing out that, you know, with the rampant homelessness going on in New York, they couldn't make those. They're saying because shelters are overrun, they need a place to house the immigrants. Why couldn't they make those tents for the homeless people in the first place? I mean, of course, we know why. This is just, you know, the agenda to bring immigrants over. I was answering my own question, but I just wanted to point that out and land my plane. Thank you.
Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Please do give us a phone call here again. In the chat room, I want Black to Deaf to give us a call. I want Black to Deaf to give us a call here. I'm going to leave the phone lines open here for just another couple of moments. Black to Deaf needs to give us a phone call here. A lot of folks here are counting on the elections to go a certain way here. They're counting on things to go a certain way, and they're going to find out the hard way here. It's a new day in a lot of regards. It's a new day in a lot of regards, and it's not what they were hoping for it to be. They were thinking to themselves it'll be business as usual, and it's like, no, what they're finding is the vote is softening. The vote is softening. That was the one thing they were not counting on. They were not counting on the vote softening here, so that's why they're trying to flood the zone with as many illegals as they can in the meantime. They're trying to shore up as much of the future as they can in the meantime. That's the idea. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and see if we can get these folks to focus on something different. We'll see if we can pull the wool over their eyes again. Not as easy as they thought it was going to be. Caller from area code 727. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, TBA? This is Mike here. How you doing?
Okay, Mike, what's on your mind?
Yeah. Like, I got a question. I believe that the black vote is going to be very consequential this year, especially in the state of Pennsylvania. You probably know, like, Philadelphia is a large black metropolis there. I think that John Furman and Ian for the Pennsylvania citizen is going to lose because, once again, the Democrats keep on ignoring the black vote. You know, like the black shotgun ad and stuff like that. It's just that Democrats are really underestimate the power of black men. We're not showing up in droves with them this year.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they are trying to deny reality. They're, as I always said, in their minds, they think that we're like the civil rights generation, that we're going to get upset for a little while. We're going to be upset. We're going to be mad. Maybe some stuff is going to burn. And then after we have blown off some steam, then we're going to all just go home and it'll be business as usual. It's a decade after Trayvon Martin and we haven't gone back home yet. They are terrified because they're like, damn, this is 10 years later. This is the new normal. So they're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we water it down and placate and pander to them to get them to accept a substitute like their fathers and grandfathers and grandmothers did? And what they're finding out is that we are a more sophisticated voter now. We're a more sophisticated citizen, and we're not falling for all of the old smoke and mirror games. That's the problem that they're having. They're trying to figure out, how do we rework this formula to fool them when they're latching on to all the code words, the trick bag language, all the deceit, all the treachery. They're on top of it. How do you rework this? It isn't working. Well, tell them that see if we can play divide and conquer then. In the words of Jay Gould, the railroad magnate, who said, I can pay half of the poor people to kill the other half. The Democrats are trying to do the same strategy.
Absolutely.
We'll see if we can empower half of black society, black women, to turn against the other half, black men.
Absolutely.
But
no
it's
doubt.
not.
It's
But
just
it's
like
not
I
going to
said.
work.
Well, go ahead.
It's not going to work. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller area code 718. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you coming from?
TBA, this is Black to Death calling out of Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, Black to Death. What's on your mind?
You told me to call in. What's going on, brother?
Why were you told to call in? Don't play dumb on my phone.
I will never play dumb with you, TBA. I really don't know why.
Why were you told to call in?
I would never disrespect you like that.
You left a comment in the chat room, and when you did, you were told to call in. Now he doesn't want to claim his comment. You all know what that means. That's the first sign that the person knows, I messed up.
I just can't remember the comment, TBA. That's all it is.
You said
I
that,
don't think I
you
think
said
I said
that Governor
anything
Abbott
disrespectful.
is sending black folk to black mayor cities, 3 exclamation points.
Yeah, I said Governor Abbott is sending the buses to Chicago, Washington, and New York City.
You said they're
because they
sending
got
to
the
black.
three black mayors
You said
there.
they're sending to black mayor cities, sir. That's what you said. So you remembered what you said. You
Yeah.
just don't want to own up to it. He probably hasn't had a
No,
chance to
I
reflect
said
on it and
something
think it
that-
over.
I said something after that. I don't know if that was why you
Okay.
told me to call in.
What's wrong
That's
with,
all
sir,
it is.
what is wrong with that statement that you made? I'm going to give you a moment to see if you can spell check yourself on this. What was wrong with that statement that you made?
It's not the only city that he's sending them to.
Okay.
Or
Well, let's find out. Why did you think that statement was important to make? What was the point you were trying to make? What was your point in saying that?
well, I was just pointing that out that I know that the media is really propagandizing that Eric Adams is getting them a lot. They coming down to the mayor in Washington because I'm about an hour and 40 minutes from Washington, and I can see the difference since they be coming in. And I know Lori Lightfoot is the mayor in Chicago, and they getting them out there. I know they're going to other places as well, but I just pointed that out. I didn't.
Yes, sir. Let me try this
Really,
again. You made the comment that Governor Abbott is sending these illegals to the cities that have black mayors. 3 exclamation points. What was your point that you were trying to make in saying that he was doing that? What was your point?
I was just saying that Governor Abbott, as part of their agenda, him being a Republican governor, sending it to a place that got 3 black mayors to flood the zone more in the metropolis areas that house a lot of black people. So a lot of black people in Washington, Chicago, and yes, in New York City. I just was trying to make a correlation on that.
Okay, so
That's all.
what the point that you were attempting to try to infer and make was that that Governor Abbott is targeting cities that have black people in them?
That's it.
Okay. First of all, do you know what the black population of New York City is, sir?
It's low, yes.
Sir,
I'm originally from New York.
Give me give me a number, sir. What is the black
I
population?
can't give you a specific number right now, TBA.
What is the black population of Washington D.C., sir?
I can't give you a specific number on that.
Okay,
either,
sir. What
as
is
well as
the
Chicago.
black population of the city of Chicago, sir?
I can't give you an accurate number on that as well.
Okay, sir. Because
I just know those cities got high black
that's
populations
very
in them.
interesting. Because your whole point was that because the mayors were black, you're making the conflation that having a black mayor means you have a black city, sir. That was the conflation that sir. That was the conflation that you were making.
Okay.
You were making the conflation that if there is a black mayor, then that means you have a black city. Now, that's the conflation that you were making. That's the problem with what you said. You didn't think that over very long. You made the conflation that a black mayor equates to a black city. And that is absolutely wrong. That's just wrong.
I was just trying to say, I wasn't trying to make that correlation.
Those are literally the words you said.
The fact that
there's no other reason to make that statement than to say Governor Abbott is sending them to cities that have black mayors.
That just the cities that just happen to have black mayors right now. Not to say just because they have a black mayor, they have a predominantly black population.
Okay, but there's no reason. Why is it important that they have black mayors? That you took notice of that? Why is that a problem?
Not to say it's a big of a problem, it's just a coincidence.
Okay, but you're the one who made the observation, so obviously you had a rationale for making that observation. Why is the fact that they had black mayors of any significance to you?
I just find it interesting that they're coming to a city that got black mayors, especially when you're talking about New York City.
You don't find it interesting. You took notice of the fact they had black mayors because in your mind, Governor Abbott sending them to Chicago, D.C., and New York is some significance because in your mind, they got black mayors there. We have black mayors in a number of cities that have minuscule black populations. San Francisco, for example. Rochester, New York, well, you used to. I can name any number of places. Black folk are very good for running for political office. What they haven't been doing is getting black politicians who are interested in black empowerment. You were making the conflation that, Governor Abbott's targeting these cities because they have black mayors. Problem, that is irrelevant. It is irrelevant about black mayorships. If you didn't notice, you've chosen 3 of the biggest cities in America. Tactically speaking, he got a ton of headlines for sending. First of all, you're going to target New York because it's the biggest city in America. Anything that happens there is going to catch headlines everywhere. Second, you're going to target D.C. because it's the capital of America. So one is the population center of America, and the other one is the capital of America. And then, of course, you got Chicago, which they hadn't really done that much up there, but it's just simply basically to poke at Lori Lightfoot because she's been making a bunch of crass comments at him. So this is his opportunity to mess with her. And notice what the first thing she did was she didn't give the sanctuary city didn't give any sanctuary. The sanctuary city packed them up on a bus and sent them to another suburb of Chicago. So when you think about it tactically, why would you not do that? The capital of the country, where Joe Biden is, and then the population capital of America, New York City. Why would you not do that? If you're trying to get attention for your cause, why would you not do that? Why would you target somewhere else?
Great strategy and great point. Correct.
Right. But simply because they have black mayors, that is in no way indicative of, quote unquote, an impact on the black population. For those of you who are unaware, the black population of DC is 45%. And yet you've got that ridiculous woman sitting up there leading Washington, D.C. Black population of New York City is 23%. However, I think more than half of that is immigrants. Black immigrants already.
Yeah.
So if you're from there, you should have already have known that. Black population in Chicago is 30%. Not a single one of those places has a majority black population, and certainly not a majority foundational population. Not a single one. Not one of those places has a majority black population with their black mayor. Not a single one of those cities is majority black. None. The statement that you made was implying that this is somehow destabilizing a majority black city. No, it's not. No, it isn't.
I didn't mean to make the correlation based on a majority black city. I was just pointing out that they had black mayors.
Okay, the cities that you named having a majority of black political representatives at the mayor's office, that does not represent destabilizing black people either.
I agree with that.
Now,
you're correct.
Greg Abbott is no friend of mine. I am no defender of his. Greg Abbott's white supremacist credentials are platinum plated as far as I'm concerned. So you will never see me defend Greg Abbott, and that will never happen, period. But I don't make distinctions among white supremacists. I don't make levels between them that one is better than another one. But by the same token, Eric Adams has not been a pro-black mayor. This is the problem with what you said. Eric Adams is not a pro-black mayor. Muriel Bowser is not a pro-black mayor. Lori Lightfoot isn't a human. I can't even say she's not black. She's not Homo sapien. So the statement that you made was inferring that those three people represent the black body politic in some way. And my point to you is absolutely not. They are puppets and pawns being put into place to toe the company line. The thing is, they had absolutely no problem making New York a sanctuary city before the buses ever showed up. They've been saying that the whole time so that they could dismiss black people's issues the whole time. DC, we're LGBT, we're immigrant, we're everything else except black people. Lori Lightfoot speaks for itself. So no, that type of inference that, they're targeting black mayors, problem. That may be true. Even if that were true, the problem is those three individuals have no black credentials. That's the problem.
And TB, I was just talking about from the political standpoint, not the body politic or the representation, of the black demographic.
That doesn't make a political point either, because you made a racial observation, not a political one. You didn't make a political one. Political one would be Democrats.
Okay.
You made a racial observation.
Racial observation.
Yes,
you're correct.
And there's my whole point.
That's all I was just trying to say.
Right.
I'm sorry for the confusion.
And that's my whole point, is targeting them. Those guys already gave away the farm a long time ago. Because here's the rational issue with it. The inverse cannot be true. You can't say that what's good for Eric Adams, Lori Lightfoot, and Muriel Bowser is good for black people in general. Your statement was inferring that what's bad for them is somehow bad for us in general. Well, the inverse would be that what's good for them is good for us in general. And that's actually not the case based on their actions. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 240. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good night, Mr. Black. My name is Dwayne Bishop. I'm calling from Nices, South Carolina.
All right, Dwayne, what's on your mind?
I wanted to, again, to just thank you for providing such insight and wisdom to the black community to allow us to navigate through this white supremacist world. I always have to lead off and say, you saved my life. You allowed me to have a new perspective. My wife and I, we traveled in an RV last year throughout the U.S. This year, I had a very unique chance to go to Jamaica for 80 days. And I was down there when the Queen died. And I listened to your broadcast down there, but I didn't have a chance to call. But long story short, you were talking about how Jamaica, how they get on and how they admire the Queen and all that stuff. And I heard some people try to call and defend, the Jamaicans, saying, they don't love the Queen, blah, 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 blah. That may be true with the majority of them. However, you see a bunch of them down there still struggling with colorism. They bleach their skin heavily. You down there, and they have these white loving ideologies. Once you leave the main cities and you go, to the outskirts, you go around the islands, you realize that the roads are horrible. So I'm like, how is this a Commonwealth realm, but the Commonwealth isn't being taken care of? And you see all those people down there, and they are white loving. They may promote, reggae, and they promote, Caribbean is love, and Irie Man, and no problem, and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, they have these white supremacist ideologies that they highly, highly adore. And the thing is, most of us, I'm from Trinidad, by the way, most of us who go to Jamaica, we only go for a short period of time, so we don't see those underlying things. We don't feel the underlying current of white supremacy that sweeps you about, you go and you want to go to a club, but then I went to a club and I realized, wait, this club is white owned. I go to Airbnb. Oh, this is white and black owned, but it's really white owned because the white people have the money. The black people just have the access to the land. And you get to see all of these different things. And nobody down there is talking about it. Everybody wants to just smoke weed, drink white rum, have a good time. And I wanted to call and offer this perspective because, I mean, again, being down there, we were literally down there for the entire summer. And we looked at the thing and we drove around the island and we saw that, again, the roads are horrible. How could you be a member of the Commonwealth and you're not taken care of? And I wanted to drop this point because, again, most of the British, former British or current British Caribbean islands, they suffer from this.
Well, definitely, like I say, the whole thing is to have a cultural connection. This is basically them saying you're subjects of the realm and this, that, and the other. This is just to say you have a cultural connection to us. And that's actually a rather insidious thing. Think about that for a few moments. That these are people who would identify more as British subjects than as black countrymen. Think about that for a few moments. That's for the purposes literally of getting you to identify socially as British subjects and not black countrymen. Now, that's very, very insidious. And here's the real issue.
You're very right about
it is not going to help them to shuck off the British crown. That's not going to help them. If they don't make inroads with us, the most powerful, richest, most assertive black folk on the planet, all roads to freedom come through here. Everything else is just going to be a temporary stay of execution until you get colonized by somebody else. That's all it's going to be.
Exactly.
If they do not make inroads with us, and if they don't make good with us, it's just all they're doing is sitting up here intellectually masturbating until somebody else comes along and colonizes them. If they don't do it with guns, they'll do it with their economy because they'll have to. They'll have no choice. So you cannot have any socioeconomic stability and freedom if you don't get us as black Americans and foundationals to support you. If you don't get our support, it's only going to be a matter of time before you get knocked off by somebody else or subjugated by somebody else. Only this time they'll call it business. So here come the economic hitmen. The economic hitmen, first they went in with guns in Africa, now they got loans for it. Look for those economic hitmen to come back, only now they're coming for you. So if you're going to sit up here and say we don't want to be a Commonwealth realm nation anymore, okay, you can do that, but if you don't come over here and fool with us for real, it's only going to be a matter of time before you find yourself behind the right now they're already behind the 8 ball. You're never going to get out from behind that 8 ball until we sign off on it. It can't be, because all the movement is from Jamaica and the Caribbean over here. And the reason for it is because it don't matter what you do. It ain't going to crack off until we co-sign it. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up here for you all. Definitely, like I say, a lot of good information for I want you to go ahead and reflect on here. Things are changing. They're going to do their best to try to hold it back. Things are changing. Folks are going up under the bus. They're already getting their splaining together to explain why they lost the election and try to say it's something other than their policies and other than their anti-black hostility. That tells you just how desperate things have gotten. Well, that's not going to help for them either. Read them and weep. Plenty of room up under that bus. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every weekend. If you haven't checked your subscription status, make sure you check that. YouTube does involuntarily unsubscribe people because they're trying to keep our numbers down. Make sure you check to make sure that you are subscribed here to join us each and every weekend. And if you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go there and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD, on streaming on Amazon. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank everybody who has contributed to support tonight's program here on PayPal or Cash App or Super Chat. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll be back here tomorrow night to do it again. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of The Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is unstoppable.